Well, good evening, and welcome to this fantastic program for the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation. I'm Bob NEWMARK, and I'm Vice Chair of the Foundation's board, and along with my wife, Kara, we are your hosts for this evening's festivities. I'm so excited that we've been able to gather this group together, whether you were able to attend in person or virtually, and really connect with our broader community of supporters for the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation. So I've been involved with the foundation for almost 15 years, and I've been really working with the foundation to improve educational outcomes for the 19,000 students in the St. Louis Public Schools. And there's a lot of work to be done, as I think all of you know, to improve the education outcomes for those students and remove a lot of the disparities that are faced by the students of the district against students in other parts of our community. So that's actually what drew me to the work of the foundation many years ago. When I first got out of law school, I wanted to work on the biggest issue facing the St. Louis community. And I identified that issue at that time as racial disparities in our community. And I started working on anti-bias training with other organizations around town. And as I did that work over a number of years, I came to the conclusion that what was really causing the divide and creating problems was not overt racism in our community, but disparities in educational opportunities. And that drew me to the St. Louis Public School District and the Public Schools Foundation, which really has been working to equalize and provide greater equity to the students in the district. So that's what drew me here, and I know that's what drew many of you here, and some of you have other ideas that have brought you to support this work. But we need to continue supporting the students in the district and help them achieve a greater future for themselves through our work. I'm so grateful that you've chosen to take some time out of your schedules to spend it with us, and I hope you enjoy the evening.
Calvin Adams, Superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools for the last 13 years. I'm here to kind of talk about the foundation and the role they play, a critical role they play in terms of supporting our kids and our scholars at our schools. I'll specifically talk about Vashon High School because they really have made a commitment to supporting schools like Vashon, but more importantly, the programs that take place at Vashon. One of those programs is the redesign program. Brenda Smith, who's the principal at Vashon, a former TFA teacher as well as a student at Vashon, reached out to us relative to redesigning her school. We went to the foundation and asked them if they could support this innovative idea that she's looking at, how she can take the 9th grade students and separate them from the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students such that they could be a cohort of students moving in a direction that they need to move academically. Vashon is a historical school, the second African-American school, second school for African-Americans in the city of St. Louis, named after George Vashon. And so Vashon is a great place for a program like the redesign to be put in place. That's one of the initiatives that's taking place at Vashon. A second one is the PIP program, where young ladies who have children can actually bring their child to school, drop them off in our PIP program while they continue their education. It has been a fantastic program to support kids. It's one of 2 schools in the entire district that really sets out to do that kind of work. And the foundation, again, supports early childhood education where these young ladies can drop their children off and their children can get a quality support system with teachers and instructional support staff such that those young people can continue to graduate from high school and hopefully move on to college. And so those are just 2 of the programs that the foundation has really worked with us around creating. The third initiative is an initiative around supporting those students who have some of the greatest needs. Vashon, obviously a comprehensive high school that has some of the greatest challenges in our district, needs the kind of support that the foundation provides in terms of trauma support. So what they've done is they've provided dollars for us to support social workers, to provide one-on-one services for kids who have some of the greatest challenges, as I've already indicated. So those kinds of programs are just a subset of what the foundation does. Vashon is a pivotal place for it to take place, but it's happening across our entire district in a way that the foundation pushes in to make sure that kids in our community and scholars in our community get the resources that they need to have. Over the last 2 years, the district has obviously received funds from the federal government to support what has happened with the pandemic. Since 2019, obviously across this country, young people have been impacted by not being able to go to school because of the pandemic. And so the federal government provided districts across the country what is called ESSER funds. Those funds are targeted funds to support the learning loss, if you will, and those are only for a period of time, and they're designated to support specific programs, and they're only for a 2-year period of time. And so while we navigate through this period of time where we have what it seems like a plethora of dollars, those dollars are limited in terms of targeted programs that we can put those dollars for, and those dollars, quite frankly, vanish or disappear in 2 years. So the notion of funding the foundation is critical because it's long-term funding. This is a short period of time that those funds are going to go away. Will they have an impact? Most definitely. But that impact will be a short-term impact, and what we need is long-term investments to support our kids and to make sure that the resources are there to make sure that scholars as well as teachers can get that level of support. So ESSER, while it's fantastic, it's only for a minute in time. It's not for an hour, it's not for a day, it's not for a week. It's only for a minute in time in a targeted way to support what has been, quite frankly, one of the most traumatic experiences that have happened in our country, quite frankly, in our education system. So the foundation dollars gives us the flexibility that we would not otherwise have. We have a structured bureaucracy where dollars have to flow in a certain kind of way. The foundation gives us the wiggle room, quite frankly, to work on unique programs, support kids in schools in a very unique kind of way that would not be there. So we would not, quite frankly, be able to be nimble with the expenditure of resources to schools and to scholars without the foundation being that 501c3 that is critical to our community. The hope and belief is that we get back to some degree of normalcy for the 2022-23 school year. This has, quite frankly, been a challenging year for all school districts across the country. And it's our hope that as the pandemic seems to be waning, that we have an opportunity to get kids back into some rhythm of what school looks like. And so we are incredibly excited about what those opportunities look like for kids. One of our greatest challenges will be obviously recruiting and making sure that we have enough teachers in place. And we will be leaning on the foundation as they have in the past to assist us in that area, which I think is a critical area for the entire community and for the nation as well, as teachers and educators make different decisions around being engaged in K-12 education. So one of the things I see happening is us leaning to the foundation to be nimble as they have in the past to support us in that area. So if there's any dollars that might be coming in, teacher retention and teacher support, I think will be a critical conversation for this community and the foundation moving forward as well.
So my name is Brenda Smith. I am the principal here at Vashon High School. I've been with St. Louis Public Schools now for 10 years. So I am a proud graduate of Vashon High School. I graduated as our class valedictorian and class president. And so it's been really cool coming back here in a very kind of unique position. I was able to grow into the principalship. And so I've been here now 6 years as the longest running principal of this Vashon's era. And each year I learned something new, and I'm met with such amazing opportunities to continue to grow Vashon. So here at Vashon, we have been extremely lucky to have the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation support us in so many different avenues. And so we are the recipient of 2 innovation grants, one for our Show Me Costa Rica project, the other one for our Restoration Center. We get support around our ACT programming, as well as I get to participate in a redesign program that is all about bettering and growing Vashon for our future. And so we've just been really fortunate to get support on so many different levels here. So when we talk about the ideal of innovation, the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation is all about that on so many different fronts. And so we have the innovation grants and the projects that come out of that, but this redesign fellowship is probably one of the most innovative ideas that I've seen in my time in education. And so the ideal of the redesign program is that they take principals and we look at our schools and then we look at other schools and we figure out something that could be really, really unique and innovative to our programming. One of the cool things is it comes with like an executive coach who has done the job for many years and is able to kind of support me in coming up with these new ideas. The program allows me to connect with 6 other absolute amazing principals on ideas. And then the program allows us to kind of be coached and supported by an entire design team. And so when I think about education, I don't know if I ever thought about the opportunity to work with people that normally work with businesses and really design something that is very unique to what we want to do here at Vashon. So one of the things that we talk about in our redesign program is prototypes. So we look at different prototypes and we develop them out through talking with stakeholders. And one of the prototypes that I'm extremely excited about is this idea of the Vashon 9th grade center. And so every year we've grown our enrollment. And next year, we're expecting around 250 fresh-faced 9th graders in the building. And the redesign program is kind of giving us an opportunity to set them on the path to greatness right off the bat. And so we're talking about, being able to plan a summer orientation and what that looks like for 9th graders. We're talking about being able to develop some really cool career pathways for our 9th graders, and so they come in as freshmen already been introduced to different fields in the business area, and then figuring out how we really bring that to life through field trip experiences and through guest speakers. So I'm extremely excited just to see how that foundation ultimately plays out after their freshman year here at Vashon. You start in a district in your high school, and oftentimes you work with high school principals. But with the redesign fellowship, we get to span the grade levels. And so I've learned so many things about the previous levels. And so not just what happens in high school, but what happens in middle school and then what happens all the way in elementary, so that we can connect and build off of that. And if I'm being honest or realistic, like without those partnerships, I don't know if my design would be as creative as it is. We do peer reviews, we give feedback, we provide assistance, we talk about resources and books, but it's been absolutely amazing to work with other principals that see things in a different lens, not necessarily always high school, but a lens of being student-centered and developing something that is all about students. When we talk about the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation, we look at, of course, all the different avenues that they support us, and one of those being kind of the innovation grants. So with the innovation grant, one of the ones that was really, really dear to my heart when we applied for it was one around the Restoration Center. And this was an idea that students are actually not their mistakes. Students make mistakes, but they continue to grow and learn from those mistakes. And so with the funding from the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation, we've been able to do some really cool things. One, we've been able to provide some resources. A lot of our students, and when we talk specific numbers, we're looking at 400 plus students have been identified as homeless or in transition. And so just providing them with some of those basic needs like uniform pants or uniform shirts, or for some of our students that participate in our parent-infant interaction program, being able to provide diapers for those students if they need that for their child has been absolutely amazing. And even some really other cool things, we've been able to do some positive behavior supports. And so when we see our students doing great things, we can reward them, and we've done things so far such as an ice cream social. The big thing right now is the camera that spins around. We was able to bring in that camera, and so for all of our students that demonstrated positive behavior, they were able, of course, to take their picture with some interest in music or music of their choice. And we've done a lot with food, because our kids, if you ask them what they want, they're going to tell you something with food. But just receiving those funds from the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation has made a lot of the rewards possible for our students. So when we talk again about our students and just kind of where they come from in our communities and where they are in life, a lot of the times they experience multiple levels of trauma on a day-to-day basis. And so one of the things that I've always talked about was like the need to have a therapist here in the building work with our students on a regular basis. And one of the supports from the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation was providing a therapist. And you think about high school students, they're all big and grown, but the impact that the therapist had was instrumental. And so you take these, grown people that's out here thinking that they got it all figured out, and you sit them in front of a therapist that wants to listen and be able to talk to them about their triggers and how they can work against their triggers. I've seen students honestly break down at seeing the positive effects of the therapist, or just having somebody who was dedicated to hear them. They talk to a lot of our staff members, but oftentimes we run off to do the next thing or deal with the next student, but the therapist was right here and the time was dedicated to them. And so it was absolutely instrumental in seeing our students kind of work through their triggers. And even today, we're still getting the benefits of it when a student can say, like, hey, now I feel triggered. I actually need to do X, Y, Z. Ms. Smith, I need to color right now because that's what's gonna calm me down and help me focus. Or I need a little fidget in my hand because when I have the fidget in my hand, I can really sit down and finish my reading in class. And so you talk about therapy helping their mental, but then also long-term therapy is helping their academics because they're able to stay focused and stay in class a lot longer than before we had the therapist available. So Vashon is definitely what I would consider a diamond in the rough. We have so many different programs going and so many supports for our teachers and our students that like when that diamond is fully shine, you're going to see the benefits. We're going to change the narrative around what people think of Vashon because our students will have so many different access and opportunities to success. And one of the very amazing things about being here is this family-like atmosphere. And I don't know how most people's family are, but like aunties, uncles, everybody pour in to who I am as a person. And it is going to be amazing what Vashon looks like in the next couple of years because everyone is pouring in to developing our students. So as a product of St. Louis Public Schools, people support it for a number of different reasons. One, we love children. And so when we talk about loving children, you can't love children without focusing on their immediate academic needs. And so St. Louis Public Schools has a huge focus on reading and how to grow it with our students. And so that is one of the best parts about being a part of this district is I know that they're going to focus on the right things. We often talk about equity, we talk about trauma-informed practices, but even creating the partnership with the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation to allow for this type of innovation makes us a very, very unique district. I talk to principals and teachers and other educators all across Missouri, and I've yet to see one that has as much support from the school district or from something like a St. Louis Public Schools Foundation. I just don't see that happening. And so one of the reasons to continue to invest in St. Louis Public Schools is because we know they are doing the right work for our kids. Today I have with me members of the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation to kind of have a conversation and talk about some of the amazing things that they have partnered with Vashon to make sure that they get to happen today. One of those things being our ACT prep program. And so we have an amazing ACT prep teacher, Ms. JANELL Anthony, who will tell you all about the work that students have done this year.
My name is JANELL Anthony. I am the biology teacher here at Vashon High School, and I have been with SLPS for going on 3 years now. At the beginning of the year, I went through a formal training to be in the ACT tutoring position. I had about 7 or 8 students that would come pretty consistently. One really came every day for the most part. And we tried to focus on reading and science specifically because I'm the biology teacher here, and that was my strongest area of expertise. We also did reading because I feel that reading and science are really kind of interconnected, and the way that you would answer questions in the science department of the ACT or the science area of the ACT test would be really relative to the way that you would answer the questions in the reading department as well. So that's why I tried to focus on those 2 areas. So starting off, when we were doing ACT prep, we were told to guide the students in a way that they would be able to know the importance of taking the ACT. And in the climate that we were working in at the time, you know, it's still the pandemic. We were still dealing with COVID, and a lot of schools were waiving ACT scores. So this was a way, or this was my way, to kind of be that segue for the students so they can understand, like, this test is still relevant, it's still important, and it's still something that is a prerequisite that you would need to get into school. So we would talk about goals, we would talk about whether they took the test or not, because some of my students that were in the tutoring program hadn't taken the ACT yet. So we would just talk about formatting, the importance of it, why it was relevant, why schools need ACT scores, and what it could do for them in the future.
One of the students that we found out were coming consistently to ACT Prep is Miss Janaya Ortiz-Moore. And we'll hear from her today to learn about her experience and what benefits she received from participating in the ACT Prep program.
My name is Janaya Ortiz-Moore, and I am a junior at Vashon High School. Other schools I've been to Carlane, Ames, VPA, and also Gateway. I volunteered to participate because I feel like if I wouldn't have did the prep, I wouldn't have really understood the test itself. So doing ACT prep actually helped me understand, especially in the science, the way the questions are and the way she taught it, it really helped understand. Prepare me for the time test and how many questions. It's a lot of questions. It was so stressful, but I got through it. I feel like I did well. After high school, I want to go to college. I actually want to go to medical school. I would say I want to be an OBGYN, but it's kind of in between from just being a doctor, period. But I want to actually explore the world.
I was actually surprised that she came so consistently, just because I didn't know if she had any interest outside of, you know, the ACT. So when she came, she would come consistently, and the more she came, the better she got with answering the questions. We were doing time trials in the science category of the ACT, and about 2 or 3 weeks in, she was getting basically 9 out of 10 questions right on a consistent basis. So that was just proof for me to know that with consistency and effort, these students that we have in St. Louis Public can really succeed and excel at this exam. I think that from the outside looking in, people often have a certain idea about the students that we deal with on a daily basis. They don't really try to understand where the students come from. They don't try to understand the environment that they're in and how it can impact them. Being that I'm from East St. Louis, I feel like I have a direct connection to these kids because I was in these same predicaments. I saw some of the same things. I experienced some of the same things that these kids could. So I'm in a position that I can kind of give what I received when I was in high school and twist it in my own way so that I can impact them as well. And I think that as long as these students know the importance of education and they can see someone like me being in this position, they'll be invested. And so this was just proof that if they're invested and they know that you're invested, they will succeed.
We also have Ms. Lauren Bowers. Ms. Bowers has been at Vashon for several years, but she is this year's sponsor for the Show Me Costa Rica project. Show Me World project now. And this is a program that takes our students from St. Louis to countries outside of the United States. And she's done some absolutely amazing things with that program.
My name's Lauren Bowers. I am a math teacher at Vashon. I've been here for 8 years now and have been department chair for 6 years and leader of the Show Me the World project for 5 years. So the Show Me the World project is a program that we have at Vashon where selected students participate in a year-long program where we study culture, biodiversity, leadership, and entrepreneurship. And then throughout the year we fundraise money, and at the end of the year these selected students actually get to travel to a selected country. So far we have done Costa Rica and some surrounding countries, and now we're looking to branch out to other ones, so we have become Show Me the World project. So the Show Me the World has kind of a board of leaders, and so we got together, we went through each question, just kind of broke down what we would need with this grant, money and like where it would go. And so the biggest thing was that we needed to basically make our project sustainable, and then we also wanted to grow our project to other schools as well. And so with this grant money, we've been able to officially become a 501(c) nonprofit, and we have done some with our coffee business. So we actually started a coffee business, but with it, we were able to kind of rebrand it, and we've been able to get everything digitally on a platform, and we've been able to redesign all of our products on there. And then also we have STEM packets that we do with the students throughout the year when we do our biodiversity. So we've been able to do more hands-on activities with our students and be able to fund that as well. And then, so with that, we've just been able to expand it. We've been able to give stipends to our leaders with the project to be able to keep them on and keep them motivated to stay on. And then as well as kind of promote our project for other schools so that we can start taking some other ones as well. Yeah, so this project definitely keeps our students accountable academically. They must maintain a 3.0 or above GPA. And so we are able to see that academically that our students are doing better in the classroom, especially with COVID. Grades have just been really difficult to keep up, and so this will help motivate them to do that, as well as just step up as leaders in the school. And so it is really cool to see that these students are the leaders of their classrooms, and we definitely encourage that we want to see, or we have them set goals, not just academically but also personally, to see that growth in their leadership skills. Yeah, so we have taken over 120 students to Costa Rica and some surrounding countries as well over the past 9 years. And so just looking back, we've actually done surveys and everything with them. And these students have, they've chosen, a majority of them have chosen to go on to college. Some of them have actually studied science since it's such a heavy emphasis on biodiversity. We have seen other students after the program, once they're in college, have actually gone and studied abroad again and have gone and traveled to other countries such as Spain, Ghana, Argentina, back to Costa Rica. So we've seen our students travel the world even more after this project. We always had the help of these students. The alumni is very strong. Whenever we have fundraisers or anything like that, the students will always come back and will always volunteer with us, and then just tell about their experience, and then also kind of mentor the students that are currently in the project. So it's really cool to see how tight-knit that alumni program is with this. This program has helped me be more consistent, I guess, with wanting to be here, with wanting to come back every year. This has really motivated me to just find the right students for this program, watch them grow, and because it's such a big impact on our students, that has helped so much in seeing growth and just in seeing our students succeed, and makes me want to come back and actually do it again with them. So it motivates me, helps me to see here, to come back every year and just do this with a new group. Yeah, so in the SLPS district, it's really, we're such a big district, and it's just great to see the service that we are able to give the students in the population that we're able to serve. And I think that SLPS definitely puts kids first, and it's just great to be a part of that. And at Vashon, specifically, being here 8 years, it keeps me coming back. Is just the alumni here is just amazing. It's incredible. I remember my first year going to a Vashon Sumner homecoming football game, and how it's just a big block party. Everyone shows up, alumni from both schools, and it's just really cool to see that. And every time I go out into the city or wherever, if I'm wearing a Vashon shirt, someone will come up to me and say, "Hey, Vashon," and because everyone knows Vashon, and the alumni is just so big and so invested. So that's one of the coolest things I think about Vashon, is just the depth that it plays historically in our city, and just seeing it just thrive over almost 100 years now. It's 95 years we've been at school, and so it's just really cool to be a part of that and to kind of continue that tradition, and just educate our students on the history of Vashon and the importance that it has to our community. Yeah, so one of the things we've done with the grant money is been able to create that curriculum that, like, for those 4 pillars that we have: our leadership, our entrepreneurship, our culture, and our biodiversity. So we've been able to, like, take this curriculum, actually create it, like, and make it into a digital platform so that it is accessible for other schools, and so it'll be easy to expand. And so our program can go. It can go to other schools in the city, it could go outside of our city, it could go, you know, to another state. But that's really our hope, is that as many kids as possible can be impacted by this program. So the innovation grant is for basically, like, teachers that have these ideas that they want to see happen, like, at their school, to kind of just give them that one up to be able to do these things. You know, like, money is a big, it's one of the things that, like, you need to be able to get things off the ground. And so by giving the teachers this funding, like, they're able to implement these ideas at their school. So, like, being a part of it has been really cool, because it's been awesome to see other schools, like, within our cohort, to see, like, what they're doing at their schools. Our program has, you know, it's been actually at Vashon for 9 years, and so it's kind of different. And so these other ones are just kind of ideas that teachers have created, and it's their first time implementing it. And so it's been really awesome to see the ideas that they've come up with. Like, we've seen, you know, like, teachers doing, like, yoga programs for our students. We've seen gardens and, like, things like for the school community. It's just really awesome to see these ideas actually come to fruition. Like, that is, it's just amazing to see that, and it's also just very comforting and encouraging that these things are happening in our district.
One of our students who have been waiting for a long time now to go to Costa Rica is Mr. Tadarian Owens. Listen to him tell you how excited he is about the benefits and the things he's learned in the Show Me Costa Rica project.
Tadarian Owens, junior at Vashon High School. My whole time going to school, I always went to SLPS schools. It's been great. It's really been a big part of me, like, big part of my community. Like, we're going to Dunbar, and Vashon had a lot of family with the Vashon, Dunbar, like, so very family oriented. Show Me a Real project, it's like a little great project that shows to teach you about new culture. One thing I'm looking forward to game is just adapting. Like, I'm really big at adapting new culture, because it was, like, really a shocker to me, because I never seen anything like it. So it was really a shocker to me, and I'm just happy to go see a new life. For me, it was very difficult, because at the time I was, like, balancing sports and Show Me the World, but, like, the redesign, it was a very good thing. Like, when they did it and I seen it, like, I really liked it. Like, even though I felt like I could contribute more, the process was, like, really good, like, based off how they was explaining it to me. Man, Ms. Bowers is my favorite teacher, like, my favorite teacher. Man, it's been a great, like, for me with the other classmates, it's just showing me new, because, like, I know a lot of people around the school, like, I'm very popular around the school, but it's just showing me, like, the people I would never notice around the school, like, walking down the hallway, I would never notice them. And it's very, like, showing me different things and showing me new people, like. So it was very new to me, like, the people I met there, it was very new to me, but, like, I really have started growing a strong bond with them. The biggest thing with me was I had to sit down with my coach, and Ms. Bowers, was very helpful for the time, because it was a rough time. We was just going into the playoffs, so I felt like I couldn't balance it, because I still need to give football, like, a lot of my time. It just allowed me to still be a part of something great, like, with football and Costa Rica, like. So it was at the time I didn't want to cut neither one off, and it came to that point, but, like, she really helped me balance it. My plans is, first, I want to go to college, Dream College, Alabama. I want to go play for Nick Saban if I get the opportunity, and I want to major in social justice. I hope to just make a change any way I can. Like, I see what goes on in my community, and I just want to make a change, like, just make a change as best as I can. It really helped me because West Point came here, and they was telling me, like, I need a program like this. And when I talked to West Point about how this could help me for college, I started talking to Ms. Bowers, and she started letting me know, like, things like this could prepare you for college. Like, when I was a freshman, it changed totally. Like, and we changing in the right direction. Like, I might have felt like the school might have got a little boring, or they might have got a little stricter, but other than that, the school is changing in the right direction. I feel like if you donate, you just showing that you care about the youth and you just giving us a chance. Like, most people like us, all we need is a chance. Like, we ain't got that many people that believe in us or who we think believe in us. And all we need is a chance to go do something great.
So the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation has done some amazing work here, and I just want to send a huge thank you from the Vashon family for all of the support that we have received on multiple levels.